So today I'm going to talk about speaking and communication skills, and I will present you our project, Interveu, which is an AI-based solution that measures speaking performance and teaches adult learners about how to become more confident and better speakers. And this is important because the modern workplace has complex communication needs, meaning that communication during presentations, job meetings, sales, or negotiations need to be clear and to the point, with great cost in case of failure. And also nowadays, especially after COVID, a lot of communications are done online, and some people, especially professionals, feel that they need to be retrained to adapt to this context. And why is this an issue? So professional training and especially speech coaching is still nowadays primarily face-to-face. And so it can be time and cost consuming, and the feedback that you get is not always personalized. And also face-to-face means that remote and online workers are missing out. And AI talent management solutions that they are online and they are, of course, based on technology, they rather focus on the evaluation of the individuals and not on their actual development of communication skills. We have built Interveu, an AI-based engine for training and development of communication skills. It automatically measures attributes from your voice and matches them to personality traits as perceived by the way you are speaking, and then gives you personalized feedback and the opportunity to practice via an online course that we have designed. So essentially, Interveu trains employees, learners, or any adult who wish to improve their communication skills and sound more professional and confident. And it is ideal, especially for people for professionals whose voice is critical, such as trainers, teachers, managers, salespeople, startup founders, and also in a variety of contexts. It works in a simple manner. You record your voice via microphone on your browser, and then we use speech signal processing techniques and have built AI models to process your voice. And then you get feedback about your perceived personality scores, together with observations about speaking style elements and tips on how to improve your speaking performance. So Interveu is heavily based on research evidence that voice is a strong predictor of personality. And we are mainly inspired by the field of personality computing from speech. We are working with a big 5 personality model, which includes the traits of openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. So what we do, on the one hand, we use machine learning methods and datasets labeled with personality trait variables to build models of automatic personality perception. And we also use traditional signal processing, on the other hand, to compute voice attributes such as the speed of your voice, the volume of the pauses you make, whether your voice is trembling, and your voice pitch. And also our online course has a strong pedagogical background and is based on the understanding by design approach, which is a framework very useful for skills development. And it prioritizes on the learning results rather than designing first the learning contents. So our models have a very high accuracy in predicting personality traits, about 90% on average. Also, ethically designed technology is a priority for us. That's why Interveu has some built-in anti-bias measures. So we follow a GDPR-compliant approach. We strive to have as balanced data as possible in terms of gender, age, and ethnicity representations. We don't store the learner's private information. We don't store their audio files. We don't need them. Just keep the metrics and then discard them. And we do not use video or computer vision at all. First, because we don't need it. And second, because this technology has still some issues with respect to bias in its decisions especially in the domain of personality perception. So the Interveu tool is delivered via an online course for mastering speaking skills. As we said, it's designed with the understanding by design framework. So the users can learn about the speaking skills, and they have access to exercises, they can watch example videos, and most importantly, they can practice with the Interveu tool, get awareness of their speaking performance, and then continue practicing until they reach their communicative goals. So the course is implemented on a learning management system, which is directly linked to the Interveu tool, where users open their mic, record their voice, and get the results in near real time. And we also designing now a new and improved user experience for our product. And just a couple of words of how it has been used so far. So we have piloted Interveu in higher education, career services in Europe. We are currently deploying that in vocational education and training. Throughout our pilots, we had a very high satisfaction rate from our learners in 4 EU countries. And most importantly for us, we had a 100% completion rate of the course, meaning that our users were, interested and willing to complete it. And this is my last slide. Just a few words about the recognition we have received. We have been shortlisted for 2 major educational technology awards. And our minimum viable product was ranked first among 16 in the Impact EdTech Accelerator, as judged by educational technology experts. So the businesses that are interested in acquiring Interveu come primarily from career services in higher education and language learning organizations. Thank you very much. And just to say that during the coffee break and the next session, me and Evan will be in the foyer with our poster to discuss your questions and more details. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this very interesting presentation. I think I like it. I would have used it before coming here to present you about usability, because I feel a lot of anxiety. But what happens if I find that I'm closed and introvert and all these negative things?
Well, I don't think that there's a negative aspect in our personalities. So there are things that perhaps we can work a bit to improve if we want to. So essentially, what's the information that you would get from our application is that, okay, you are an introvert. Maybe this is a problem in a particular context that you like to talk because you want to sound more extrovert, yes. Okay? So maybe I can actually show this. So let's say that these are the results you get. So for extroversion, you are a bit on the low side. And then you get feedback that extroversion is actually correlated with some of the speaking skills that you see above, with the pace of your voice, with the pitch, and so on.
Yes.
And this means essentially you get this actionable feedback that if you want to improve your extroversion trait, then you can work on the skills that are related to that.
This is the good thing about it, that it gives you the opportunity to exercise yourself on every aspect that you...
Yes, and then you get prompted to go back to the course, to the specific lesson, learn more about this trait, hear some examples, do some exercise, and then go back to practice until you are satisfied.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Hello, very interesting talk. Were there any aspects of neurodivergence or people who are in the spectrum, let's say, considered in the app? Because you mentioned also facial recognition, and usually people who are neurodivergent, they don't stare at the face of some of the users, stare somewhere else. It's a common face trait.
So first of all, in the design of the course, we have catered for such aspects. For example, colors, fonts, hide and show the menus, etc. And while the user is practicing, we give them the learner, we give them the opportunity to have the camera open, not because we record the video, but because some people like to have, this mirror effect, like rehearsing in front of the mirror. However, I think that we haven't made any experiments or usability specifically to this category, to people who have these aspects, but we cater in advance through our design to somehow, but Evan, would you have some?
Yes, thank you. So yeah, for the visual part, we have done everything we could, but then for the voice part, we would need a specific data set to train, and we don't have that at the moment. We are discussing to be on a project to do that, but we don't know if it's going to happen, so we cannot announce it like for sure.
Is language the pattern?
So this has been, this has been trained. That's a great question. Actually, this has been trained on data on English data coming from both native and non-native speakers. So when it comes to language skills, so the 5 skills that you see on the top side, it does okay because it's just speech processing and it measures, some features. Also, before you start practicing, we get a calibration of the way you are talking so that we have, a baseline in order to compare with your next trials. So I'd say that this works for every language. However, when it comes to personality perception, this is strongly correlated with cultural skills, and the technology is there, and essentially it would work, but we cannot claim that, it's 100% built for Greeks or for Mediterranean people. We have to have, data sets of this population to be responsibly claimed.
We must stop here and go to the next presentation.